Hola and welcome everyone to the Women Building with Intentions Summit. I'm so excited. So this is the, Lord, I forgot the name of it. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm sponsoring it, so let me just start that over. Space. Oh, have you checked out the landing page?
Is it the update or is it the one that I seen before? Or is it something brand new?
Brand new. Okay.
Well, then no.
We'll check it out later. All right. Hola and welcome to the I Am Her Empowerment and Impact Summit for Career Women. I am Kourtney Coleman, your host, and I am so glad that you are here for this particular episode to meet Miss Ashley Hill. Hello, Miss Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so excited for your event.
I am so excited that you are coming to share with us about how to get money for children. I am so excited for the opportunity. So I want to introduce Miss Ashley Hill to you. She is a scholarship search strategist who is passionate about teaching stressed and overwhelmed corporate moms how to pay less for their college-bound child's college education so that they can help their children to get into their best fit college with ease. Thank you for that service. It is well needed, let me say. How do I know? I have a 17-year-old. So I want to just go over some things with you, like how did you discover this is what you wanted to do?
That's a really great question, and I love it because I started out actually going a different direction. I was headed into the research field, but I really, over the summers during my college years, during my undergraduate years, I was beginning to help people in my neighborhood at no charge just because I loved it, kind of really trying to mirror my own experience. And I had a great experience preparing for college. And so once I graduated, I said, you know what, I think I'm onto something. And so I decided to make it full time. And as of last April, I did. I made the leap.
Awesome. And I actually met you in June, I think, of last year.
Yes.
So that was
right.
That is awesome. Well, tell me, what are the top 3 mistakes that parents should avoid when planning for managing the cost of their child's college education?
Right. The number one mistake is not really calculating the total cost. And now, of course, it will be an estimate because you're not sure at that point, where your child will be attending. But to at least get I'll call it a realistic estimate. And not only does that include tuition, but that includes your room and board. If they will be attending college out of state, consider your moving costs, transportation costs back and forth, like on breaks. Things like that. If they're going into, like I was a biology major, those extra fees for labs and notebooks and things like that. So just number one is getting an idea of the total cost. A lot of parents do not do that, and they have sticker shock a little bit later on. Sometimes it's too late. The second mistake is that they're starting too late. A lot of parents, just from being busy and other things, are just like, hey, we'll get around to it when we do. But I can tell you, start as early as possible. I dare say ninth grade if you can, and at least, obviously at that point, your child is not attending college, in the ninth grade, but start preparing, start researching with your child, start asking questions, getting engaged. Then I would say the third mistake that I'll touch on is not starting the scholarship search sooner. Regardless of what the cost of college is, if you anticipate that you or your child will owe a balance of any kind for tuition, start searching as soon as possible.
That's really great advice. And especially coming from me having just visited colleges, I've sat at the table with other parents and they're just like, but what is the real cost? And I'm like, why are you freaking out?
Right.
Did you go to college? Don't you know it's going to cost grands? Like, don't you know? And I remember, and being here in Florida, they have a scholarship, I don't know, I guess you can say fund, where you just build even when they can be born. You can start your building then. So that's really great if you can do that, putting away a little bit at a time. So it's not, like you said, at least start in ninth grade, but they might want to at least check with their state to see if, hey, do you have something where we can start building a little by little earlier?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, what type of scholarships are available to students?
Wow, there are really a lot. Of course, the more commonly known scholarships are merit-based, from the colleges themselves. But there are also scholarships based off of if you are the dependent or child of someone who's in the military or retired. There are scholarships based on your ethnicity, your race, your gender, your career aspirations, your hobbies, how tall you are. There's a scholarship for really tall people, really tall students. Oh my goodness, just almost about any hobby, any career choice, where you live, as you just mentioned, scholarships based off of your residence. There's just so many scholarships out there, different types.
Wow. I remember when I was looking way back when, it was like I had to be Jewish living in Michigan fishing, and I was like, what? I'm never gonna fit this. I'm like, how can I have somebody help me to do this? So it's really great to be able to know someone like you now that I have a child that's trying to go. How can parents help to motivate their students to search for scholarships?
Really good question. First of all, it is not always easy, so I'll put that out there first. But of course, you know your child best. But really frame it to them and use real numbers, because obviously this is really your child's probably their first major decision. This is a life decision, because it's a considerate amount of an investment that they'll be making in their future. But first of all, frame it for them in terms of real cost. And then I like to break down scholarships in terms of money, because kids, that's something that they can relate to is money. So I tell them, for example, if you take 4 hours and you search and apply for $1,000 scholarship and you won, you just made $250 an hour. That's not a bad hourly rate. That's more than some people in corporate America. So give it to them in terms like that, but also begin to bring in support alongside with you. Bring in your school counselor, bring in your community leaders. Don't do it alone, but bring in support. And oftentimes, and Kourtney, I'm sure you can probably agree that your child may listen to someone else, even though you're saying the same thing as they are. So it doesn't hurt to bring in other professionals too.
That is true, because we all know when raising a kid, they go to school and learn something first at school. It's about who taught them first, and they will listen and hold on to that for dear life.
Right.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. How can parents get an estimate of college costs? Because, like I said, I was sitting at the table and I could just feel their fear of, but how much is it really going to cost? Like, when are you really going to know? And I'm like, when you get the bill, like,
Right.
that's when you're going to know, because it's going to change. And you
Yes.
have to be okay with that, because something somewhere is going to be added or subtracted. And you're going to have to know it's within those brackets. But what do you think?
So my first I would say my first strategy for this is going directly to the college or university's website, particularly their financial aid section. They usually have a cost calculator. And so I would plug in your child's data. This is actually be a great family activity. You guys can sit down together and do this on your phone, PC, tablet, whatever, or what have you. And, put your numbers in, put your expected, start year in. And so you can calculate costs that way, but you have to also remember that will probably only spit out your tuition and room and board. But also you have to take into account, again, if your child will be attending a college out of state, you now have to consider what are our moving costs? How are we going to transport your child's items to their dorm? Or will you buy all new things? I hope not, but will you buy all new things in the new state? Will they be driving in that state? Driver's license, all these other things come into play. What about your cell phone plan? Most students obviously will stay on their parents' plan, but there could be some differences if they move, to another state. So I would say start with the college's website, and then from there do your research, and don't forget to include your cost of moving, transportation, and average cost of books based on their major as well.
And food plan.
And food plan. That's right. That's huge.
Yes, it is. How can parents help their students to write winning scholarship essays?
Right. So first it starts with knowing what does a winning scholarship essay consist of? And I can tell you, I've been on that side of the table as a judge, and I can tell you that the number one thing we're really looking for is evidence of leadership abilities. Now, that's a really broad term, and Kourtney, I know you know this. Leadership can mean a lot of different things, depending on the person and the scenario. But your child has to make that term leadership they have to be able to display that in based on who they are, their abilities, what they've been able to participate in, and so forth and so on. And so parents, one of the best ways you can help your child to write this essay is to help them get involved in an activity to develop their leadership skills and something that they're interested in. And bonus points if you can tie it to their future career. So number one is doing that. Number two is helping your child to polish, right? Polish up that essay. Trying to minimize their grammatical errors, spelling mistakes, and just overall the flow. An essay has to flow. It has to convey, it has to answer that prompt. And so just simply reading through it a few times with them is a great way to help them perhaps catch something. Because sometimes when you're writing yourself, you don't catch something until someone else does. So I would definitely do that. And then lastly, my last tip for parents is start off with asking your child the big why. Why did you want to get into this field? Why did you want to participate in this community service activity? And help them tie in that why in that scholarship essay. And that's going to really increase their chances of winning those scholarship dollars.
That's great. I actually have a Grammarly account that I make sure that I share with my daughter so that she can check whatever it is that she's writing, just to make sure if we don't catch something, we have another fallback on.
That's right. That's a great idea.
That's something I truly believe in. I'm like, do you have a Grammarly account? Did you write Grammarly? Especially when you know what isn't your strength, you have to make sure you have other tools that support you.
Yes.
And I love how you had the conversation with my daughter and you asked her about her activities. And then it was, well, what did you do in those activities? Well, what you were doing there was actually displaying leadership, because a lot of times we don't think about what we're doing because nobody gave us the title of leader, that we're not exemplifying leadership. So that was very, very nice. And I love that.
Oh, great.
How can parents help their students to create strong scholarship applications?
Great. So an application, and I'll explain it like this. It's almost like you're going to a restaurant, right? And you ordered a nice steak, baked potato, maybe a nice broccoli on the side. And let's say that the waiter brings it out. You can see that steak sizzling, you're like mouth is watering, right? But then they bring it out to you and the plate's dirty. You're seeing other gross stuff on there. You're like, wait a minute, I don't want that steak anymore, right? I want a clean plate. And so that application, you have to have all the elements, right? The steak, the baked potato, the broccoli, all the elements might be on there, but the overall presentation, if it's not as crisp and clean as possible, just like you would reject that plate, so would a scholarship judge if it was a scholarship application. And so overall, it's making sure that your child isn't presenting a brag fest, right? It's not the point of who can do the most hours, who can get the most awards. It's not about that, but it's about how you can put it together that displays your child or highlights their strengths in the best way and most clear way possible. So simply, when answering the questions, list the information and keep it moving. Also, including your child's scholarship resume, a simple outline of what they've done. Also, this is kind of a bonus, but encouraging your child to follow up, especially if it's a local scholarship. That's going to put their application ahead of the pack because not many students reach out. So that's another bonus tip as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That was very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, we will be right back after this break. Okay. Now I'll say we're back, and then I'll do the questions. And we are back. So, Miss Ashley, what is the most common mistake that students make when searching for scholarships, and what's the solution?
Yeah, so the most common mistake is that they start with Google. And I know you're thinking, that's where we should start, right? But no.
University.
Yes. You have to start with the scholarships that give you the best chances, and those are local. Now, you may use, an online, you may use a search engine. So I'm not saying don't go online, but focus on local scholarships. So that may include meeting with the school counselor. Usually they keep a folder of scholarships because they get inundated with that from local businesses wanting to support, their local students. That may be checking in with your local place of worship, your local library. They get tons of resources like that. And also when you're searching online, make sure that you're putting in, a qualifier like scholarships +Los Angeles, or wherever your city is. That way that you're going to narrow down those search results.
Awesome. And your job might
Yes.
have something that you don't even know because they've updated benefits and, trying to keep it on a hush. The least,
Right.
the least amount of people know, and 3 people get a scholarship application in there, there's a better chance that, so just check with their job as well, or their spouse's jobs,
Yes.
family members. You can just have them ask their companies, and that way, if they do, see if there's an opportunity for your child to submit their application to there as well. So whatever little small networks you can get into, Federal Credit Unions has been one that's been popping up lately as well.
Yes.
And your banks and your employers. So that's awesome.
Right.
When is the best time to search for scholarships so that you're not applying after the fact and like, oh my gosh, all the money's gone and I did all this work? And tell us, what's the best time?
You know what? It's all year long. I literally was just looking today and saw, actually, Kourtney, I got to send you some stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, just got notified of one today. So, there are literally due dates, I can say almost every day. And so here's the thing, what you just mentioned, I run into this problem, or I run into students with an issue of, they're like, I keep finding scholarships after the deadline. And so I tell them to minimize that if you search regularly. Of course, I do it every day because of the business, but if you set a schedule, put a timer on your phone, right? And every Friday, let's say from 5 to 6, you're just searching for new opportunities, and then start applying for those early. That way, when you see something that's due in 3 months, don't wait and forget about it, but start now. Start that process of applying early. There's no penalty for applying early.
Awesome. So in that vein, if an application has been submitted after the deadline, and I know the place that is sponsoring the scholarship, it's their rules for if those applications carry over, if you have to resubmit, but do they normally say, okay, we'll hold these for the next session, or do they just trash them all and you have to resubmit?
Yeah, so I would say 99% of the time you will have to resubmit if you have submitted and the deadline has passed.
So it'd be good to keep track of where you've been applying and what the deadlines are. So go back and revisit, because every year is a new year. You can always try the next year. If you don't get it this year, try next year.
That's right. Recycle.
Recycle. Awesome. What specific resources are available to help students get started when searching for scholarships?
Right. So there are actually a lot of resources that I don't think students are aware, because we know the big ones, right? Like I can tell you, SallieMae.com has a new scholarship search engine. Scholarships.com has one. They've been around for a while. They have a free app that I love. The Shally app, when I signed up, it wasn't a fee, but I believe it is a small fee with it now. The Shally app. But also pay attention to, and this is why I love LinkedIn, pay attention to your industry association. So if you know your child, even if you don't know the specific career, but if your child's narrowed it down to an industry, then you could at least help them to start searching on LinkedIn just for the associations. Because, for a company, they love to release press releases or announcements of upcoming scholarships. And also, your big companies like Tylenol, Coca-Cola, major corporations, Walmart, things like that. But use that to pay attention. And also, I think we're going to get into this, but I have a brand new resource as well. It's called the Scholarship Bank. And so I'm kind of giving you kind of a start, kind of like a starter, places to search, and a few links in there as well. So those are just a few resources.
Okay. And what was the Shyla? Is that what you said?
It's Shally. It's SCHOLLY.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Awesome. So what gift do you have for these wonderful women who are trying to build not only their lives, but the lives of the people they're responsible for to help them get money for college?
Right. So my gift to all of you that are watching is that, as we've been talking about, it's really hard to get started, right? Especially when you don't know where to kind of direct your child to start searching for scholarships. So I've put together a resource. It's a comprehensive. It's called the Scholarship Bank, and it is based off of you and your child's location. And the reason why is because the scholarships that really gives your child the best chances are in their local area. But as we mentioned, there are other types, but this is really a great starting point. And so that's my free gift to all of you. You're welcome to come in there at any time. It's available 24/7. And also, I do send out other resources and tools from time to time as well.
So if they sign up, they will be able to get access to you, or would you like them to contact you another way?
Right. So if you just want access to the scholarship bank, you can head over to my website, and I know Kourtney, you'll be sharing that information. But if you need to contact me to have like a consultation or any kind of one-on-one time, then you would need to schedule an appointment. And then I know Kourtney will include that link as well.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and just give your website to me, and I'll make sure I put it in the screen, and the resource for them that are going to have the paid subscription. It will be just inside of there, and they can make sure they have direct contact with you.
Perfect. So the website is www.collegeprepready.com. That's all one word, www.collegeprepready.com. And then my resource, my free gift for all of you guys is www.collegeprepready.com/the-scholarship-bank. And it's right there on the homepage.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to take a look. You know, I'm looking for money.
Absolutely. I got some stuff for you too.
Awesome. So the reason why she says she has stuff for me is because I'm paying her to help me find money for my baby. It is no joke out there. So I greatly appreciate your assistance. I love the fact that my daughter is like taking this seriously. She looks at the report that you send her. She's checking it off. She knows, you know, this one came in. Mom, I have so many. I'm trying to get to them all. She is really working, and I'm very proud of her. And that's one thing I will say that seeing this has allowed me to do is see her in a different light. You see them doing homework, or you don't see them doing homework, but I see her working this as a job. And she's like, I'm finding money. I got to find money. She's like, well, all I can do is do my best. All I can do is send this off to Ashley, ask her to check it, then send it off. Or, oh, I haven't heard from her. I run it through Grammarly. I did what I can do. I did the best I can do. And she's just on top of her stuff. So it will allow you to see your child starting to just grow in their independence, knowing it's their responsibility, and be like, okay, I'm doing the best I can do. I print this out. I give it to you to read, you know. And my first thing, did you run it through Grammarly?
That's right.
But at least I know, because we're working together to help her to get the money that she needs for college. And she understands, like, okay, 500,000, you know, that's more than what the house is. Like, this is more than your dad's and my dad's salary together for 1 year. So you have to give them an idea of what this value is to them so that they can put in the work and be like, okay, it's my responsibility.
That's right. It really is a team effort. And, you know, I'm glad that you're saying what you said, Kourtney, because even though, you know, your daughter, of course, is driving this process, I'm so glad that she has the support of you and her father there, her family there with her. But I'm so glad. And that's what I want for all the moms that are watching. It really is a process, and they need your support. Whether your teenager tells you that or not, they need your support. So it's really great to go ahead and get started.
I can see with all of the classwork that she has, and it was okay to manage.
Mm-hmm.
But we were like, are you going to do this extra activity? Are you going to do, you know, this job? Are you going to go apply for jobs? She was like, Mom, right now my job is finding scholarships. I can't handle these other 3 activities. And that's something I'm very proud of, for her to realize what her capacity is,
Yes.
what her load is, because it can be overwhelming. You're trying to make sure you got everything you need taken care of at school and the activities you do have to do. But after that, my priority is getting money for my future. So outside of that, everything else just has to wait.
That's right.
So very, very proud to have seen her being in this, because she is working with you. So I greatly appreciate the work that you are doing for my family. You have no idea. It's a big blessing.
Thank you.
I hope these ladies have enjoyed you sharing with us. I'm excited for how you are going to impact their homes just like you have mine. So I hope they take you up on your offer, because it is a great offer to be able to have help finding money for your children. I know, because I didn't have it. And I just know the value of it with my daughter. So I want to encourage you ladies to take her up on her offer. And that way you too can have the ability or the opportunity to see your child growing in that way, taking responsibility for their future on the financial end. You know, we know they have to do it with education, but with the finances, when you see them stepping up, because, you know, we pay for everything, but when they are like, you know, okay, let's do this, it's a great feeling to have. So I thank you for your time, and we will see you over inside of the the group to answer any questions that anyone may have. And we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you for being here. And until next time, ladies, stay true to the real you. I'm Kourtney Coleman. Bye-bye.